Hello, everyone. This is Pedro Romero reporting on the 2021 LCS Championship. I have here with me Raes, the ADC of Immortals, who have just taken down Dignitas to move on to the next round of the lower bracket. And so, Raes, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. You went through a
Yeah, no
3-0
problem.
sweep, and
Yeah.
I'd first like to know how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling really happy that my mental going into this series was kind of like I felt a bit off. Like I couldn't stop thinking about needless thoughts when like really the only thing I want to do is focus on the game and how well I can play. But despite thinking about like, yeah, if we lose, like I did not rate Dignitas very highly the entire year, but like our record against them is 2-3. But I feel like today we finally got to show what it feels like the games in the regular season should have gone like against Dignitas, and to do that now, like this was a big series win for us. I feel like I put more pressure on myself than I should have because I don't know, it would have been like really, I would have felt really bad to just lose to Dignitas Free. Like I mean not Free, just to lose to them because I didn't. Yeah, I always thought this entire year they weren't that good. I feel like we matched up well against them, and yeah, it feels really good to like finally show that when it matters most.
And so, although you said that you've applied plenty of pressure on yourself, it seemed like you didn't actually have that during the games. I mean,
Yeah.
on game two, you popped off with that Aphelios in conjunction with your teammate Revenge's Tom Kench. And
Mhm.
so, what did you? I'd like to know your overall thoughts on how the team played for that series against Dignitas and the way that the team actually prepared themselves for that series.
Um, so the question was how we felt during the series and how we prepared for it,
Yeah,
because it
both.
like cut out a bit. Yeah,
Yeah, it
okay.
was both.
For the series, game one, it didn't go like the first 15 minutes didn't go how we wanted it to, but like after we got the first uh team fight ace, we played our like macro really well. I was really happy with like the late game of that game, and then game two was like from from like start to finish. I was really happy with how we played that entire game, and then game three was like the complete opposite. Like we had a bad start for once, and then yeah, we had a really good. I was happy with how we played the mid game at some points, but there was one like dragon blunder, and then we had to like give the next dragon because of forgot why we had to give the third drake, but yeah, giving the second dragon because we were just like going in the wrong spot. We should have like gone in for mid, and then yeah, but we managed to close it out. I was happy with like how we played from behind in a series, so definitely like a lot of good things to take from the series, like just playing from even, ahead, and behind. I was happy with everything. So
I mean, in that third game especially, it was pretty much a dragged out game. I mean,
yeah,
the casters highlighted that Dignitas went for a 5v5 composition, whereas you guys opted for not exactly that. You just waited to pick up
yeah.
like a particular person who just wandered off of that conjunction in Dignitas. And so, how did that play into your like mental fortitude, like in order to outlast the other team and eventually take the win?
Yeah, we knew like because of what you said, we had to play this kind of style to avoid team fighting them. We could. It definitely was possible for us to actually win team fights since like Ziggs, my champ, I thought, um, paired very well into like the enemy team comp. They had that very short range and like it was hard for them to get on me if I disrespected like where Kiana was. So, but the one time we wanted to do that, like I said, we just split up and I got caught off by Kiana, so we had to like concede the dragon. But yeah, I was happy with like how we played away from their style and into our style. Like I think they didn't really know how to do anything. They would like slowly. They were just waiting for dragon to spawn every 5 minutes, and hopefully like they wanted us to fight them that, but we never really gave them that fight. So yeah, I think we just played to our strengths very well in that last game.
Indeed. And so, um, you guys move on to the next round. At the time of the recording, you're not sure exactly who you're going to face,
Yeah,
since the upper bracket matches are coming up. And so, I
mhm.
mean, regardless of who your team is going to face, how are you guys going to take in this this next week and prepare for that second series in the lower bracket.
So what's the question exactly? How are we going to prepare for?
Yeah,
Because
yeah. How are you guys going to look into the second week of the lower bracket or the next round?
yeah, I think regardless of who our opponent is, we're going to take the match. Like we're going to take practice the same. Like we're not going to, besides changing how we draft in scrims, like whether we verse TL or TSM, our gameplay and our strategies, like just how we play the game is still going to be the same as what it has been for the entire split. So I don't think like we're too worried about that. Really, the only thing that will change is the draft. And I think if we like play our style, we play like we did today in the first two games, that I think we can take it against these top teams, but it'll definitely be like hard, especially since like TL TSM, we're 1-4 against TL, 0-5 against TSM. Not very good odds, but I'm still confident.
I mean, as you mentioned before, the regular season is a different dimension compared to the playoffs, and so I'd like to know your take on like what does the a best of five offer that a best of one in the regular season regularly can't.
Really, the biggest thing is always going to be like drafts. That's going to be like the most obvious thing people would look at, and I think that was our drafts were very volatile in, yeah, I wouldn't say like we had consistently good drafts. We had good drafts, like really good drafts sometimes. We had really bad drafts sometimes, like, and I feel like that made us look poor, I guess, especially against teams that draft well, like TSM and TL. I would say, for example, draft pretty well against us during the regular season. So we did lose a lot of games to them like that way. But yeah, I think being able to play best of fives, actually change your draft between games if we do have a bad like game, that is definitely the biggest thing. And then just being able to see like how this team plays, like we already know TL TSM. It's going to be like a support running around the map, and we're definitely going to prepare for like how we want to play against that, if depending on what happens, because I think C9 reacted pretty poorly to it, and I'm pretty confident in like finding ways to counteract that kind of playstyle, because I definitely think it is like it's this bait. Like I think, yeah, I feel like it's like a bait playstyle that the other team, if they react accordingly, if they react like poorly and try to just match it, brute force match it, like C9 did, like then whoever has the weaker uh, even numbered fights, like I feel like C9 did, then you just lose. So yeah, I'm definitely confident playing against both these teams.
Um, Throughout the regular season, the top half of the LCS or practically the entire standings has just been so level headed and as such,
Yeah.
and so that sort of parity has been highlighted by Evil Genius's head coach Peter Dunn. He mentioned that this playoffs was basically a battle for the soul of the LCS, in which teams, as you described, are facing off each other with differing playstyles. You know, conservative versus proactiveness. And in your point of view, do you think such a battle is currently happening within these playoffs?
Yeah, I do think what Peter Dunn says is like correct. It does feel like the teams, like it feels like, for example, the C9 TL game, this was TL's strategy was to play this very roam heavy support style, and C9 tried to match that and they failed. And like that was like TL winning with their kind of style, you know, and C9 trying to match it and failing to do so. So I definitely think like, and the TSM, I'm certain like the TSM TL series will be very similar to that. So it'll definitely be interesting to see like which style is actually the the best at the end of the day, because I think EG, I don't know, it just seems like everyone is like this NA meta is just becoming like a support roam fest, and whoever's the best at doing this kind of style, which right now I think TL do have the best understanding of it, so they will probably look like the best, but like I said, I think there are flaws in it and that it can be figured out. So if someone does that, then they'll probably beat them.
You said TL is one of the best. So where does
Yeah.
Immortals stand in that regard?
Depends on the draft, depends on how we're playing today. Like we all as 5 players played very well today, and it showed. Like I think on the other hand, like Dig underperformed. I feel like I could tell they were kind of playing with a lot of pressure on themselves, and they were very unconfident in plays and didn't really, especially towards the end, like with that Baron, I think they choked under the pressure and it showed, but I think we didn't really do that. So yeah, we got it done at the end of the day. I think it was, yeah, I think if we play like we did today, then we can match well against the other teams.
Yes, the classic Dignitas Baron that capped off the series. And that meant the progression of Immortals. Raes, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me in this win. Do you have any final shout outs, some words, or anything else of that regard?
Thanks to the fans supporting us. If there's shout out to the people who do believe we have a chance, you know, and aren't just completely writing us off, and hopefully we can show up to your expectations.
All right, perfect. This has been Pedro Romero reporting on the LCS Championship of 2021, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.
See ya.